Are you completing a personal tax return at this point in time? Well, if you are, you need to listen to this video because the world of personal tax returns is about to change forever. And I want to be able to tell you exactly what you need to do to make sure that going forward, you are fully compatible, fully compliant, and fully ready for the world of making tax digital. Let's roll the intro and get straight into this one. Hello, my name is Patrick. I am a chartered accountant, a certified UK trainer with a fancy new logo, that QuickBooks Chap on the internet, head of accounts here at Boffix, and also your friendly podcaster who goes live each and every Monday morning for Ask the Accountant. And I always forget to say it, but I'm also, as you can see here, zoom in Lizzie, we are a digital disruptor for 2024. My name is Patrick, and in this video we're going to be telling you all about the world of making tax digital. So let's take it back a little bit and understand exactly what we're talking about. Let's keep this simple. If you're currently doing a tax return, think about what your current compliance is. You, to stay compliant, need to make sure that every time a tax year finishes, so that's after the 5th of April, you then have a ticking time bomb all the way till the 31st of January to complete a personal tax return. And on that personal tax return, you need to complete all forms of income that you received in that tax year, from the 6th of April to the 5th of April. And that process keeps going and going and going. Now, one thing I always tell people, doing the tax return isn't as scary as you might think. Yes, it's daunting. Yes, there's lots of boxes to fill out, but nowadays we've got lots of software and we've got people like ourselves, accountants, who can help you get those completed. The thing that should be scary to you is making sure that you fully understand when and how you need to get that submission completed. The when, pretty straightforward. You need to be submitting your personal tax return before the 31st of January after a particular tax year is finished. The how, currently, is just making sure that you log into your online portal for HMRC, get it completed on there, or in some circumstances use a bit of software to help you get it done. Or if you use an accountant, they do all that bit for you. So the when and the how is pretty straightforward currently, but unfortunately that's all about to change, and that's what this video is mainly about. We're going to be talking about the world of making tax digital, and it's creeping up onto us pretty substantially. The most important thing is, when will you be affected? It's all going to be based on your income. So that's that top level. So if you're a reseller of eBay, etc., it's how many items you sold on eBay. If you're a hairdresser, it's how many haircuts you cut. If any other form of income, it's that total income figure that we're about to talk about. And when we talk about that total income figure, we need to be very, very careful that if we're approaching a particular threshold, that we change the way that we submit our tax return going forward. So first of all, let's talk about those thresholds. In 2026, the income threshold will be £50,000. In 2027, the income threshold will be £30,000. And in 2028, the income threshold will be £20,000. Now, why is that important? Well, if you cross those income thresholds within those years or above them, then not only do you have to complete that personal tax return that you've always been doing, but you've also got to consider doing quarterly updates. And what quarterly updates means is that you're telling HMRC on a quarterly basis, basically, how your tax return is coming along. You're giving them a quarter of the income and the expenditure that's ultimately going to appear on that final tax return. And the crux of it all is, to make that submission, we have to use software. So no more logging into your HMRC portal and providing your tax return information there. You have to be doing all this by software. That's the point of making tax digital. We're scrapping the idea of being able to provide that detail just on some boxes in a tax return, and they want you to be providing that detail via software, so ultimately they can see the behind the scenes of how that figures are coming through. Now, for a lot of you who are already using software, you're probably going to be absolutely fine. And going forward, all you need to do is remember that each quarter, you have to submit that quarterly update. Basically telling HMRC everything that you have done in that particular quarter. If you're not using software at this point though, this is where it becomes mission critical to make sure you're prepared for how those quarterly updates are going to go. If you've got an accountant, definitely talk to them. For our clients, we give them multiple options. Either we do it all for them, we check what they're doing, or the client does it themselves. In every one of those scenarios, we can work with clients based on that. But the client themselves needs to understand what affects them in the changes and how they need to mitigate against any issues going forward. So let's run through a scenario. Imagine your income at the moment as a sole trader is £40,000. That means that 2026, you don't need to worry about this update. But in 2027, you're going to need to start providing quarterly updates to HMRC via software. When it comes to software, we have loads of software options out there. And I'm going to talk to you today about the one I think is going to be the easiest software of all of them to use, which is QuickBooks Sole Trader, which was designed particularly for this exact scenario to make sure that MTD is ready and waiting. Let's have a look at it. Now, QuickBooks Sole Trader has made it super simple. She used AI to make sure that actually there's not much of a categorization that you need to do of all the transactions. What you've got to do is just make sure that AI has made the right assumptions for you. Now, when you first log into this software, and don't forget, you can do all this on the phone as well. We're just showing you for ease on the browser. But when it first connects here, first thing it's going to ask you is, should you be adding your bank account? And for every situation I would think of, it's always the right answer to say yes. So I'm going to use the Let's Go option. There it's going to ask me what bank account it is I'm looking at. Then all I need to do is sign into that bank account. You then need to go through the security checks to get yourself through. Then what it's going to do is extract the data from your bank account. This is really useful. Choose the date range you want to go back to. Depending on the bank, depends on how far you can. But don't forget, you can actually import more data if you need to. So I'm going to go back all the way to the 1st of the 1st, 2024. Bring that data in. And then QuickBooks and the bank are going to talk to one another from here on in. So every time you make a transaction through your bank account, that information will appear automatically in QuickBooks for you. And best of all, because of AI, QuickBooks will automatically assign that transaction on your behalf. Meaning that as long as you look after it and keep an eye on those transactions and maybe change a couple from here and there, you'll have everything you need to make that quarterly submission to HMRC. So once you're attached to the bank account, it's then going to prompt you, should you get the app? I highly recommend the app. Best thing about the app is you get mileage tracking directly on here, and also you get a camera to be able to take photos of your receipts as you go along. Really handy. But straight away, you can see here, it's telling you what your cash balance is at any point in time to give you confidence that everything's correct. And you have the opportunity to go in and look at making invoices, new customers and estimates. So you can send customers your invoices directly from here if that's what you're going to need to do. And now you have the opportunity as well to see some really impactful information. What income did you have? What expenses did you have in the last elements here for this year? As you can see, not doing pretty well on my end, but you can see it's also giving me a breakdown of all the expenses categories that come through. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the transactions area and bank transactions, because without a doubt, this is the most important area. This area here is going to tell you all the transactions that's come through. And as you can see, it's automatically categorized them for me. So it's seen my Amazon payments and put them to sales. It's put my InstaVault and put all the other transactions in. Now, if I need to make a change on any of these, like say this Amazon one here, I click into it and it'll give me suggested categories at the top. I choose which one it is. If I need other categories, I can start scrolling down or even use the handy search bar at the top. And also, as your accountant can add categories for you. So if you've got those particular categories that you want to start recording against, seeing how you're doing in your business, just ask your accountant and they can put that category in place for you. Making a change is as simple as that. Put the category in, change it to sales, and then you can go down and you can make sure that all of these are going right. Use your search bar at the top to find multiple transactions, and don't forget to press this X to make sure that you can see all the transactions and not just that 12 months. You have a whole area for invoice estimates, products and services, so sending invoices out is nice and straightforward. You get that nice receipt capture area so that you can add a receipt directly from here, and it's going to extract that information, put it directly in for you. And you get some reports to see how your business is doing, and you can start looking at those reports to start getting a feel about how your business is going at this point in time and try and spot some useful trends that's going to help you and your business grow. And finally, the important bit for you is this taxes area. You jump into the taxes area, it's going to give you an estimate of what your income tax is going to be. And when Making Tax Digital comes along, you're then also going to have the ability from here to be able to submit to HMRC those all important quarterly updates. And then at the very end, you're going to be able to submit effectively your tax return directly from the software, making it super straightforward. Again, everything we've just shown can also be done on your mobile phone through the app. And I actually think the app is even easier to use. So there we have it. There's a breakdown of what Making Tax Digital means to you and your business. The most important thing to understand is what your requirements are going to be. So what do you need to remember? Well, if you hit those income thresholds, you need to make sure you make those quarterly updates. Each quarter is going to have its own deadline to make sure you have it there. You have to use software to make the update. So our best solution on the market, we think, is QuickBooks Sole Trader. Then at the end of the tax year, you're going to be submitting your tax return as normal, but you're going to be using software to get that tax return in. That way, you should have everything you need to make sure that you're compliant going forward. Now, if you need a help or hand on this, please don't forget to reach out to us at Boffix. At Boffix, we can offer you tailored options to help you make sure that you're MTD compatible from day one. We can also provide you a discounted version of QuickBooks Sole Trader so that you have the software you need to be able to get that submission done. My name's been Patrick. Let me know in the comments below, what do you think about Making Tax Digital? Is there anything you're particularly worried about? If you put the questions in there, we'll do a follow-up video and we'll go through those and we'll make sure that everything is all on the same hymn sheet. So if you've got questions regarding MTD, drop it down below and we'll follow up on a video later down the line. My name is Patrick. Don't forget to use our link tree below to get more information about Boffix and how Boffix can help you become MTD compatible. And for more tips and tricks on the world of Making Tax Digital and everything else to do with business, you're already in the right place. So don't forget to like and subscribe. Make sure you give us some love. That way we can keep making these sort of videos to help businesses like you not just survive, but thrive. My name's been Patrick and I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.